Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This will be an unboxing of a figure we picked up not at San Diego Comic Con, but the day after at Target, maybe. Not something I've ever seen before, though. It's the original concept art for Sy-Klone, a figure based after it. Say what you want about the Masters of the Universe toy line, but the art on their packages was incredible. And it still is. So let's see how to open this up. Sy-Klone was always one of my favorite characters. They never did enough with him in the cartoon. And what they did do with him, I wasn't too much of a fan of. Let's see, do I need a knife here? Maybe I can pry it open with a knife. There's some tape. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Masters of the Universe presents a sketchbook series featuring figures inspired by the original concept drawings of fan favorite characters before they evolved into the final forms of Eternia's greatest heroes and villains. And you can see there's probably one of, too bad there? There we go. He was in there tightly. Some more sketch work on the liner card inside. So this figure comes with a second head and a gun. Oh boy, he's anchored in there with the plasticky things again. All right, let's see here. Took out a piece of my knuckle doing this one time. I need to get those like little surgical scissors or something. Maybe just even needle nose pliers. Ah, did it again. All right. Nice movement in the head. Shoulders, okay, nice. What about the elbows here? So they swivel and they bend. Not too much play there. Not double jointed. The wrists appear to swivel. There's a bit of a joint right there. Gauntlets appear to be blocking it a bit. It's going to be hard to put a lot of play in the elbows anyway with the oversized biceps. Twist at the waist, nothing up in the torso. Legs kick forward a wee bit. Trunks aren't rubberized, they're quite solid. So that's not going to give you a lot of play. Toes or ankles point up and down. They don't swivel side to side. Is there? Yeah, okay. So the boots turn side to side. Knees, not bad. decent amount of play there. And it looks like there's a swivel joint in the thigh there, right? No, maybe not. It's just part of the costume, as it were. All right. Really like the silver paint and this almost lenticular chest piece here. As mentioned before, there's a lot of play in the head. I'm guessing there's a ball pin or something that the head will snap into. Let's see. Pull out his gun here. I'll attempt to. There we go. And the head. All right. I seem to remember Zodak having a similar looking gun, but it was red in the old figures. Yeah. Now the original Sy-Klone figure had a wheel right here that you spin. Is up. His torso would twirl around. There was a very loose joint in the shoulders, so they would fly up like you're punching somebody. I'm not sure what the powers of this particular Sy-Klone is, or if they're even similar. Doesn't appear that it's coming from the gun, like any kind of wind or whatever. You can see pictures here, like that, like he's commanding a wind or something, or it's coming from his hand itself. This is a cool figure, though. I'm going to attempt to remove the head and change it out. But if it's on a wee little pin... Okay, that wasn't hard at all. Nice. All right. Let's see here. There we go. Nice. So you can also see a sketch of this head there. I don't know if they were planning on doing 2 different versions of him or just replaceable heads. That's not something they did back then. They never did really do replaceable body parts unless that was part of the whole figure, I don't know, line or whatever. What I will say, though, is that the yellow headpiece doesn't quite fit the aesthetic of what he's got going on here. If they would have made it orange or blue, would have fit a little bit better, but it's obviously a nod to the classic Sy-Klone. Really cool, though. I like that a lot. Let's see how he stands here. It's kind of precarious anyway because of these boxes and this cardboard. But what I did want to do is I'll show off, I believe I mentioned it in one of the videos before leaving. We wanted to do an art project with all the flyers and things we gathered from Comic-Con. That would be kind of what's in this bag here. These are all flyers and free comics and things like that. So our idea was that we were going to, because you just gather those things automatically, whether you buy something or somebody's passing stuff out or, you know, there's a table of free stuff. You're going to come back with cards and stickers and posters and things like that. So my idea was that we had purchased these, like, I don't know, journal books or whatever, and we took it with us, and during our downtime at the hotel we'd start cutting up flyers and things like that and sticking them in the book as a reminder of what we did that day. We forgot some pretty important things, like the Mod Podge stuff, scissors and stuff like that, but we kept all the flyers and everything, and in doing this, we've also dug up some old flyers from past Comic-Cons. But this is what we've got so far. This page here, we were trying to keep a bit more female eccentric or whatever, female centric. Believe that one right there is from Dark Horse. They had an poster up at their booth for something called Sister Imperatus, and she's a character from. There's a band called Ghost, and they're like they're all priests or something like that, and she is based in that universe. I don't know if she's an original person from the whole Ghost mythos or whatever for the band, but they've built a character or something, a comic based around that character. And that right there is a free card we got. I don't remember, but either way, that's supposed to be Conan. This one here we wanted to devote to spookier things. So this right here was one flyer put together. We cut it in half and we placed this thing in the center. This is from Kill the Pumpkins here. Something Beyond the Petrichor was something we cut out of a comic, I believe. These are all stickers. We did finish the Halloween Man graphic novel we got at Comic-Con. Really fun read. I like it a lot. And I do love Halloween, so probably wouldn't be too hard to please us. Don't think there's anything else after this, right? No, there's one more. That cat girl, I believe, is from Zenoscope. I don't know where that. I'm going to call it a rocket, but I like its very retro look to it. This was from a flyer we picked up at Cine Lucha. That was where the luchador priest who inspired Nacho Libre was signing. I believe that's it, right? Yeah. So in doing this project, we've we've always kept all of our flyers and things like that somewhere. Just always takes a while to dig it out. In this case, we found a bag of flyers and stickers from previous Comic-Cons where we keep all of our bags and things like that. So one of these next pages, we got a ton of stickers from Kraken Dice too. But I think the next page we do in this book here is going to be devoted to all those stickers and things. Also like to do a brief mention of some cool comics we picked up last week. Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone. IDW is really doing a lot of unique stuff with Godzilla. It's not just focused around the kaiju or the monster. I want to say there's one called Spaceship Godzilla or something like that, where the ship is essentially Mecha Godzilla. And this this particular one takes place in a obviously dead zone. This guy is like a mutant, half kaiju, half human maybe. It's not really explained yet. Amazing art, intriguing story. Tama. I picked up this book on a whim and was quite pleased with it. They mention in the foreword that it's kind of based around Tamagotchi and virtual pet things from way back when, like Pokemon and Digimon, Neopets, and stuff like that. And it's kind of about, well, what happens when you abandon those pets? Right off the bat, this book is kind of gory. It's only one of 6 from Panic Entertainment. Great art. I can't show you too much from the book because it gets violent really quickly. But what it boils down to is the main character, this guy here, his mother is something like a liquidator or something. She buys out an old tech company's office that went bankrupt. So she's got all these old computers and things like that. there was a tragedy that happened at the at that building. So yeah, she buys it out. The boy finds a thumb drive with a game on it and boots it up. Here we go. The game is called Comp Animals. So he's looking at all the animals and which pet he wants to raise, and he says, I choose you. So this is a VR game, I think. And at one point he gets bullied or something like that. The animal gets a bit feral and protective. And that's kind of a nice way of putting things. But also what I was impressed with, maybe I can find a picture of the animal that's all angry and mad, but not tearing things to shreds. Yeah, here we go. But one thing I was impressed with is in the final pages, they have kind of a lore and background of each animal. This is their cute side. This is their aggressive side. But each one has a nice little bio. And it's 6-issue miniseries, so hopefully it gets all nicely wrapped up or something like that. And I don't have to follow it for years to come. This here, though, this is a book that we saw tons of ads for all over the internet the weeks building up to Comic-Con. So when it came out, I had to pick it up. Mike Carey is one of our favorite authors. I believe in the past he wrote for DC's Vertigo. He has a very urban fantasy bent to his style of writing, but I was very pleasantly surprised by this book. The artwork, while different, I got a very what would be the word for it? Vibe's not the word for it, but like the first time I saw Mark Texeira's art with Ghost Rider, kind of got that feeling from this. Just is excited, like, wow, this is great stuff. Let's see, look at this. Very dynamic. And I'm really, the first issue was very intriguing. I liked it a lot. So what can I say about it? This isn't this isn't the typical vampires everywhere kind of book. The way they describe it is humans are prey. Vampires are apex predators. And these guys, they give them a name. Darn it. I'll have to look again. Let's see here. So there's another vampire, type of vampire that the other vampires are pretty much afraid of. I can't find the name. They do have a name, though. It's not Strigoi or anything like that. It's a name I'm not familiar with. But the book, as you saw, opens with vampire hunters. And they're going to what they're calling a nest of these other big bad vampires. And they're all like tense and kind of afraid. So in the background of that story are these 3 or 4 families, and you get the idea that they always take this summer trip with their kids. And in this case, they're taking this summer trip to share something with these children. And what it is that their parents are those big bad vampires. They don't necessarily feed on blood. They just touch something and absorb everything. And these are all little kids. So, of course, they're all super frightened. The parents leave them alone to process all of what's going on with that big revelation. The parents come home. The vampire slayers are there. They're all slaughtered. The kids go home. They find their parents slaughtered, and all these vampire hunters wanting to kill them. So that's how it starts. I'm not sure if this is going to be an ongoing series or if it's going to be wrapped up in a few issues. My only issue pun intended, is that these are kids. I don't care if they're vampires or have superpowers or whatever. They're just kids. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. But I am excited. So free comic book, not free, new comic book day is tomorrow. And I have no idea what's coming out, but I'm sure I'm going to grab some cool things. So this was a brief review of some comics we picked up last year, but mostly the unboxing of the Sketch series Sy-Klone figure from Mattel. Right, we got some cleanup to do. Thank you for joining us. Stay healthy. Always be kind. Take care.